Hey everybody, second shot Scott here. All right, we just left Harper's Ferry. There was no border sign, but we have left West Virginia and we're now in Maryland, which means we're done with Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. 5 states down, 9 to go. And Maryland won't take too long. Big old train going by. Got a new backpack. Got new shoes. New trekking poles. Complete reset for the second half of the trail, which we're not quite yet there yet, but we're getting there. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey everybody, Scott here. So we are at the Maryland-Pennsylvania state line. So Maryland's done. We're into Pennsylvania. We're going to be in Pennsylvania for a while. This is also the Mason-Dixon line. And here is Janice. So we're now done with Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Maryland. So 6 states. So 6 done, and what was that? 8 to go. We're at like mile 1066. So there we have it. 1 more state done. All right, we'll talk to you later. All right, everybody. So I was at the 1100 mark, and I hadn't seen the halfway point, and the halfway point's before 1100, so I figured I missed it. Well, here I am at 1101 and a half, which is way past the halfway mark, and guess what? There is the halfway mark. They have the halfway mark at 1090.5, which this year it's actually 196.5. But they change it a little bit every year. Anyway, so there it is, the halfway point. I'm past 1100. I'm at the halfway point. And I usually don't bring Janice out. I only bring Janice out for state lines and if we need to have a conversation about me quitting. But I figured I would have to bring her out for this. There she is, right there. And it also occurred to me that some of you might not know who Janice is. So real quick, my buddy Sean, who also goes by Radio, his mother was Janice. She's deceased now. And she was visiting him at work one time when I was there, bringing him lunch. And I was telling her that if I felt like quitting on the Appalachian Trail, I couldn't call my wife because she'd say, good, quit and come home. And she said, listen, Scott, if you want to quit, you call me, I'll talk you out of it, and I'll be your motivator and your cheerleader and your ass kicker to get you through the trail. So I said, okay, that's great. Well, I didn't really plan on calling her because quitting is something that you can't really be talked into or out of. But I thought it was great that she did that for me. And then sadly, she passed away before I did the trail. So Radio was kind enough to give me some of her ashes in this antique perfume bottle. And Janice and I have done a lot of hiking. She's even been to the top of Mount Whitney in California, the highest point in the lower 48. And she's also been to Badwater Basin in Death Valley, the lowest point in the United States. So now her and I have done half of the Appalachian Trail. And although I didn't think I would call on her, I have been calling on her since she's been with me, and I'll probably call on her a few more times. I was going to leave her at Mount Katahdin, and I'm going to talk to radio about it. I just don't feel right leaving her out here, especially at Mount Katahdin. Mount Katahdin's cold, rocky. I'm actually thinking about having Janice be my permanent hiking partner. I'll talk to radio, and if he agrees with that, that's probably what I'm going to do. So that's Janice, and that's why she's with me. All right, halfway. From now on, it's easier to go to Katahdin heading north than it is to go south to Georgia. So that's what we're going to do, is head north. Thanks. Hello everybody, Scott here. Time for a quick update. I've got a lot of pictures and video before this, so I'm going to try and make this short. I left Harper's Ferry Friday the 14th at mile 1026, and that day I crossed the Maryland state line, into the Maryland state line from West Virginia. I saw the Townsend Mausoleum. It's a tomb they built, nobody's in it, they never put anybody in it. I also saw the original Washington Monument before they built the big one in Washington, D.C. Then that night I made it to mile 1048, the Pine Knob Shelter. And that day, so I left Pine Knob Shelter Saturday morning, Saturday the 15th, went to Annapolis Rocks. Also, that was the day I did the Mason-Dixon line and entered into Pennsylvania. That night, I made it to Deer Lick Shelter at mile 1071. And then Sunday, the 16th, I left there. And Monday was an eventful day. Monday, I crossed the 1100 mile mark. And I also crossed the halfway. The halfway mark was very confusing. The halfway mark is actually before 1100, but they've got 3 or 4 halfway marks. They change it all the time. And I made it to the Iron Masters Mansion Hostel, which is next to the Pine Grove General Store, which is where they have the halfway eat a half gallon of ice cream challenge. I didn't do the challenge because I didn't feel like being sick, but I did have some ice cream and stayed at the hostel that night. That was at mile 1105. Tuesday morning, I left there and I made it to mile 1123. I camped just inside Bowling Springs, Pennsylvania's city limits. There's a campground or a camping spot for backpackers right next to the railroad tracks. I set up camp there with some other people, and a train went by right after we set up, and it was very loud. But we thought, well, how many times is the train going to come by? Well, in the next 45 minutes, there was 3 trains that went by. They did slow down during the night. They were extremely loud, but to tell you the truth, they woke me up and then I went right back to sleep, so it wasn't too bad. So then this morning, today's Wednesday the 19th, I got up, went to a restaurant in Bowling Springs and had a huge white chocolate mocha and some French toast, which were awesome this morning. And I just had a short hike of like 9 miles into Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I'm in a Days Inn in Carlisle. I've got resupplied with food, shower, laundry, all set to go tomorrow morning. My next push will probably be to Hamburg, Pennsylvania, 90 miles from here. Everything's going good. The weather is really good. It's starting to get a little warm, but I will say it's much easier to hike when all through the hike you've got little spots where you can go to a gas station that's got, you know, sodas, and some even have pizza, slices of pizza that, or hot dogs or hamburgers. So it's not like you're going 4 or 5 days out in the bush trying to get to a town. These little towns pop up. They've got little services. It's made it a lot easier, and the weather is really, really good. I'm sure that'll turn eventually, but I'm going to enjoy it while I can. All right, I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff, but this is way too long, so we'll catch you in Hamburg. That may change. My plans are changing more often now because I find out there's some other place I can go that's better or closer or farther or whatever. So, all right, that's it. That's the update. We are going to keep heading north, and hopefully we'll get to Katahdin. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.